Mr. DeWolf said he personally beat people when he worked for Scientology. He personally beat them. He personally intimidated, personally got their sex lives, personally threw it up to them to hold everybody in line. Are you saying that what he's saying there is a lie?
What I'm saying...
No, are you saying that's a lie?
Yeah.
He said he beat people.
Listen, I can't say as far as what he says he did in 1952 or whatever. I wasn't there. No. I do know...
So there's a possibility that as a Scientology teacher or auditor, he beat people.
If he did, it was in clear violation of all the policies at the time. And that's the point. What I do know...
Why are you laughing?
Standard policy.
Standard policy.
In late '03, there was a beating every day. And if it wasn't him doing it, it was from him inciting others to do it to others.
In front of other people.
In front of other people. Go along, baby.
Marty Rathbun is the highest-ranking former member of the Church of Scientology ever to speak out against its leader, David Miscavige.
I was basically Mr. Fix-It for Scientology for a couple of decades, frankly. I mean, I was, wherever there was a fire, I was out there to put it out, whether it be, counseling a VIP member, or whether it be, handling the PR from some suicide of a member, or whether it be a lawsuit or whatever.
Rathbun joined the church at the age of 19, devoting 27 years to Scientology. Before he left 5 years ago, he was a member of the Sea Organization, the international management team that runs the church. They sometimes wear naval-style uniforms. They're given room and board and earn just $50 a week. Rathbun became the Inspector General, working for and reporting directly to David Miscavige. While Rathbun was there, he says Miscavige routinely assaulted church members.
He treats his subordinates in all of international management like slaves in a slave camp, and beats them down.
The idea of the leader of the church physically beating other members of the church seems to be completely against Scientology doctrine or what they're supposedly all about.
You're right. They're absolutely diametrically opposed to the type of violence and beatdowns that this guy engages in and has created a culture of at the upper levels of Scientology.
Why are you laughing?
Standard policy.
There was nothing of the sort as they're describing by Mr. Miscavige.
David Miscavige has never kicked somebody?
Absolutely
never
not.
Punched somebody?
Absolutely not.
Never strangled somebody?
No, never, 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 never.
Marty Rathbun says it happened. Mike Rinder says it happened. You say...
They're lying. It's absolutely not true. I mean, it's ridiculous.
David Miscavige has declined to speak for himself, but in the months we've spent preparing these reports, Church of Scientology officials have provided us with affidavits, declarations, and dozens of emails and letters. They come from ex-spouses and current leaders of the church who worked for decades with the accusers and also with David Miscavige. They both defend and praise Miscavige, and they assert emphatically David Miscavige never abused anyone. They say that Mike Rinder and Marty Rathbun did.
It was part of what led to Marty Rathbun's removal, because that is the kind of behavior that actually he was involved in, and it led to his ultimate complete removal from any position whatsoever in the church.
So you're saying that David Miscavige learned that Marty Rathbun had been hitting people, punching people, physically assaulting people, and that's why he was let go?
It was one of the reasons.
It was one of the reasons.
So there's a possibility that as a Scientology teacher or auditor, he beat people.
If he did, it was in clear violation of all the policies at the time. And that's the point. What I do know...
Why are you laughing?
Standard policy.
Standard policy.
But it turns out Rathbun and Rinder are not the only ones saying there was a culture of violence created by David Miscavige.
The next thing I knew, I'm being smacked in the face, knocking me down on the ground.
Standard policy.
David Miscavige was the one leading this whole physical violence kick, and it was him who was beating people up.
Standard policy. 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 Standard policy.